But uni was kind of the first time where it hit me. I went, whoa, I have to live by myself and I have to make my own food.
I was just kind of like exiled to my room.
I'm not doing this for attention. Please stop asking me questions.
Being a student comes with its fair share of challenges. Late night deadlines, tight budgets, and navigating life away from home. But what happens when you add celiac disease into the mix? In today's video, we're talking to 3 students who are living with celiac disease. From awkward flat dinners to unexpected wins, they're sharing the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Whether you're newly diagnosed, supporting a friend, or just curious, this is what it's really like being celiac at university.
So I was diagnosed in July.
I was diagnosed with celiac when I was 10 years old, and I've kind of had to live with that since then.
I'm 21 now, and I've been celiac since I was 15 years old.
And it wasn't until I started to go to uni that I realised this would be the first time in my life I hadn't lived with someone who had the same condition as me. My first year was a flat of 8 and then a flat of 8 opposite each other on, so 16 on one floor. And we were just talking like within the first week, like Freshers Week, and I happened to bump into someone with celiac on my floor. I've been really lucky in that sense to find people.
For university, I decided to go to a local one. I didn't stay in halls the first year just because I was a bit nervous about cross-contamination. I hadn't heard any horror stories or that, but I think it's more just the idea of it and having to tell people, oh, I have celiac disease, I can't share the same things, like having to keep everything separate.
1% of the population has it, so I was kind of astounded that there was someone there that had it. My house second year was actually 3 people with celiac and 1 person
When I
without.
was in second year, I wanted to try like push myself out my boundaries a bit, and I did take that step to move into halls just to see what it was like, and wasn't the best experience, to be honest. I was in a flat with all girls, but I did feel quite a bit left out.
I got diagnosed back at home in Preston, and then I had to change doctors and everything when I got. Living with other people is quite hard.
Third year in my uni house, we now have 2 celiacs and 1 without celiac, so I never thought I'd end up in a 4-bed house living with 3 people that had celiac. So I just think that was really amazing at the time. I really wasn't expecting that to happen, and that kind of was kind of a source of some anxiety for me before going to uni. Kind of grilled my bread if I wanted toast, or I used toast bags.
I was always quite careful. I did have my own toaster, so I kept that in the cupboard, and then I would bring that out when I wanted to have toast or was making meals and things.
So I have an air fryer, like stickers and stuff I've stuck on my things around the kitchen.
When we go on nights out, I will bring, if we plan to go to McDonald's afterwards, I'll bring just like a bat of bread in my bag.
Because of the cross-contamination, I did kind of make it like a point to go in when no one else was really in preparing their meals. I think I would have got really stressed out if there were multiple people making their meals, because I just kind of wanted to get in and make sure my stuff was separate from everyone else's.
It's been quite hard, but most of the time I just like make my own food and like keep everything separate as much as possible.
To begin with, I definitely think it was quite lonely. But then once I met someone with celiac, they were like, oh, okay, it's not as weird because there's now more of you.
One example that I have that made me kind of feel the most left out, to be honest, was they would have these dinner parties. First one they had, I kind of like walked in on mum setting it up, and I was like, oh, what's going on? And they're like, oh, we're having a dinner party, but oh, I don't think it's gluten-free, so sorry, like you can't join, kind of thing. Like, it would have been so easy for me to just have known about it and been invited, and then I could have made sure that I could bring like a gluten-free alternative to the meal and be involved and sit with them still, but I wasn't really given that option, so I was just kind of like exiled to my room in a way. So that really kind of like hit me hard.
It's like when we go out to eat and stuff like that, there's some places I can't eat at. So and then like we went out for a friend's birthday and everyone else was eating and I just had to sit there with a little drink.
I did end up leaving halls after the first semester. There were other things going on as well, but I just thought it wasn't worth it. You know, feeling excluded from everyone, it just wasn't a nice feeling. For me, I just tried to steer clear of the free from aisle because that's where it's pricey.
A weekly food shop for someone with celiac is 37% more expensive than those without. So I feel like definitely reducing the cost of gluten-free food would be a good start.
I do feel really lucky because I'm in Scotland, so I get gluten-free food on prescription as well, which that helps a bunch. So I'll get things like flour, cereal. You can get bread on there as well, actually, which I've started to do more recently, just because everything has gone up in price and it's getting a bit more difficult to manage.
Yeah, so I started off with prescriptions when I was a bit younger, and then I think I got to 18 and it stops in the UK.
I've just set up a prescription with the GP for gluten-free
So
food.
I think it's quite like staple products, which is quite good. Like it does just take that burden off of like going to buy like Dove's Farm flour or like Warburton's Tiger Loaf. Like it does really help a lot with the cost.
If you're looking for more information about the gluten-free prescription system or want to dive deeper into how it works, check out the other video on my channel that covers it in greater detail. If you're a student with celiac disease, you might be eligible for disabled student allowance. There's no fixed list of conditions that qualify for DSA, but to be eligible you need to have a physical impairment that has a substantial long-term negative impact on your ability to do everyday tasks. So if you have celiac disease, a long-term autoimmune condition, it can fall under this definition. To apply for DSA, you'll need medical evidence like a letter or report from a doctor. But while celiac disease can qualify, student experiences vary a lot. Some get the support easily whilst others have to push through it. It often depends on how clearly your condition affects your studies. So if you think you're eligible, don't rule it out. Talk to your uni's disability services and get the right documentation.
I didn't really think about applying to like disability student allowance or anything like that because I already get some because I'm dyslexic. So I didn't think I could apply for it. It would make sense to apply to it for this because it is obviously the food is so expensive and all that sort of stuff.
Applied to the disability allowance service because they said people with Crohn's and IBS and IBD would get subsidised money, cheaper accommodation, and then you kind of get reimbursed for it on proof that you had the medical condition. Upon getting my letter from the doctor, I then sent this into the uni and they said like, no, sorry, we can't do that. Celiac doesn't count as a condition that we would have to make your accommodation cheaper for, which I found that a bit strange because why does IBS and Crohn's then qualify when I don't?
Yeah, I never did that, but I just never thought to do that. There were some people I interviewed for where they were offered things like a toaster and like I think a fridge for their room as well, but I never thought to do that. I think it is a nice option for some people to have if they do want to do that because it means they don't need to pay for their own toaster and things like what I've done.
So Coeliac UK, it's a really helpful website. I went on the Coeliac Society UK website. I ordered like a going back to uni pack, starting pack thing.
If you're a university student with celiac disease or just starting your gluten-free journey, Coeliac UK has a starter pack made just for students. It's packed with gluten-free recipes, breakfast, dinner and snack ideas to keep you feeling full and healthy, even on that student budget. Plus, it gives you practical tips on avoiding cross-contamination, which is super important in shared kitchens. And if you're ever stuck or need support, there's even a helpline that you can call.
Definitely say like downloading the Find Me Gluten Free app is one of the best things I've done so far. But also just like making sure that when you explain it to people, they also explain it properly to other people. So it's just like making sure you use correct terminology to explain this sort of stuff. That's one of the main things I would say, just to make sure that other people around you have got a good understanding of how serious it is.
Try and find people, whether it's online or through support networks, try and find people with the same condition as you in your same area, because that just will help with the feeling of isolation and you will get to know people that way and they kind of help you out. So for example, Facebook groups and things like that. I'm in a Facebook group for celiacs where I live, and that was been so helpful with people saying like what restaurants have now changed their menus, or there's a new place opened up in town, is it safe, and things like that. So I definitely try and reach out and meet new people.
One piece of advice that I can give that I would want to hear is to just not feel any guilt or embarrassment with it. Just be yourself. It doesn't change who you are as a person, and you know, you're unique in your own way, and that can add to your uniqueness. It doesn't make you a more difficult person. It can add to your personality if you want it to. Try not to let it bring you down or make you shy away from other people, you know, because people are going to love you no matter what. Like, what you eat doesn't change that really.
Being celiac doesn't mean that university is off the table, it just means planning a little differently. Your condition doesn't define you and it definitely shouldn't hold you back. Let's keep raising awareness and making student life more inclusive for everyone.